Good morning. So today I'm recording my not life live, and I'm answering a question. Why does emotion of regret exist about something that happened in the past, even if we cannot change that what happened in the past? And does anything positive come out of that emotion? If we think about something in the past, if we think about anything that has happened before, it means we have some trauma in that. So it could be emotionally traumatizing event. It didn't have to be physically traumatizing event. So what is trauma? Trauma is a situation in which we were not able to find emotional resources to complete trauma cycle. So in this case, it would be something in that event in the past has happened that left something unresolved. So we did not fully accept that thing happening. We did not fully allow that thing to be the way it was. It means, from that physical point of view, it means we have part of our consciousness still stuck in that event. We can say we left part of our soul in that situation. There is something in that situation so strong that we cannot basically live in peace. And that's why we keep on remembering it, and that's why we keep on feeling regret. Also, another part to this question, another part of the answer is, it means that we had some fantasy about it. We could have been very well convinced that this is not fantasy, but it's reality, how things could have been. In any situation, at any point of time, there are number of possibilities of how things can work out. And the reason why we have regret is probably we haven't chosen that option that now we think we should have chosen. So either we didn't do something that would get us the fantasy of that situation working out the way we imagine it could have worked out, or we did something to prevent that from happening. So this regret feeling, it means not being able to let go, especially if it's going on for a very, very long time. And when people, they say you just need to let it go, there is another thing that comes with that. You just need to let it go. Sometimes it's not possible just to let it go. Sometimes the event has been so stressful, so traumatizing, or consequences of that event was so stressful, so traumatizing emotionally, that we have that feeling of regret. If we have that feeling of regret about that kind of does not leave us in peace, it means somehow that event added to our trauma. Trauma probably that we have had already before that event started in the childhood, like many things, like most of the traumas, and it built up on something else. Like, for example, if we've been abandoned as a children, if we felt abandoned as a children, and then, for example, we have some romantic relationships later in life, and it didn't work out in a way that we felt like we are abandoned, we might think that abandonment of our romantic partner was traumatizing. However, the original trauma was actually in the childhood. So it's not to say that the partner abandoning us is not traumatizing, it's traumatizing, but it's more kind of like another layer to the original trauma of abandonment. So if there is something that you persistently feel regret about, it means you have some unresolved trauma connected to that. Does anything good comes out of that? So it can come out if, let's say, you done something or you didn't do something, and then you learned. But that positive effect of learning from something that was traumatizing for you would come as a healthy consequence, as a healthy outcome. So you would make that conclusion and you would decide to never do that again. And the feeling of trauma, the feeling of regret would kind of dissipate, because you would know that in the future you're not going to let that happen to you again. On the other hand, just feeling regret about something all the time, just remembering, well, it could have been that way or it could have been that other way, and not moving away from that, it doesn't really bring anything good. Why? Because it keeps you in that emotional cycle. You keep on that, let's say, vibration of that regret active in you. Somehow, probably you have feeling of guilt about that. I would say regret is very often, most often related to guilt, because when we feel regret, we feel we didn't do something or we did do something. And that guilt is keeping active vibration of being guilty for something, and probably in our current life doesn't allow us to have a sense of peace and sense of freedom within ourselves, with our beings. Maybe we double question our actions. So I don't think, like, having regret is normal. We can have regret, and we may regret some things that we did or didn't do. I think all of us, or most of us, do. Of course, there are some people who completely cut the losses and then move on. However, lots of sensitive people, emotional people, empathetic people, we do feel those emotions even about something that has happened and we could have done differently, but then we didn't do. And it kind of creates this atmosphere of inner restlessness, of inner, you kind of like eating yourself from the inside. And we might even feel responsible for something that we may not have been 100% responsible. And that extra responsibility might be weighting us down. So I think when we have this continuous regret, and if it's cyclical regret, it means we just don't have resolve in that situation. And the best thing to do in that situation is actually to find resolve. Sometimes you cannot find resolve on your own. Sometimes you actually need to get help. Sometimes you actually need to work with specialists, with a therapist, with a counselor to help you find resolve, or do some inner work exercises to be able to see, okay, what is hiding behind that regret? What is really, for example, let's take romantic partner, right? Is it something, the life that I could have had? Is it the happiness that I could have felt? So in some cases, it's important to check reality versus fantasy and to make peace with that. In some cases, it could be that it's not just the fantasy, it's kind of like a responsibility because somebody suffered because of our actions. Maybe we suffered from our own actions, or maybe our loved ones suffered from our actions or inaction. But then at one point, we need to go inside, do some inner work, and find a resolution for that. Sometimes just doing inner work on our own or with somebody is not enough. Sometimes we actually need to take actions. We need to, let's say, pay the debt. So the paying the debt, sometimes it might look like paying the karmic debt. Say if we've done something wrong to somebody, now we may be helping to someone who is in need. So like that we can ease the feeling of guilt or creating some damage in someone's life. So it really depends on your situation. But the answer is, does that bring anything good, having this feeling? I think it helps initially when it happens as self-reflection, as learning, but if it's continuous, then it's no longer bringing something good. It keeps that emotion, that feeling active in you, and as a result of that, you keep on attracting either more distressing situations or more similar situations, and you cannot find inner peace. So find the resolution for yourself and find a way to have inner peace. So that was my not life. I'm currently abroad and I don't have a very good internet connection. So I decided, rather than having pixels in my live stream, I rather just gonna pre-record it and post it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for asking questions. And if you have anything else, please let me know. If you have any comments, any experiences with the feelings of regret, with the feelings of relieving feelings of regret, let me know. And I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.